Thanks all for joining us today. We'll get started here in just a moment. If you could fill out our welcome poll, that would be super awesome. And we'll get started here in just a second. Thank you. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Thanks so much for filling out our poll. Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Matt Dietrich. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions at the Penn State School of International Affairs. And my colleague Christy is in the chat. She is the Director of Admissions here at Penn State SIA. I'm having issues with my camera, so I'm just going to go ahead and great. If at any time you can't hear me today, please go ahead and put something in the chat for us so that we know that we're still live with you. In any case, though, welcome to our webinar. We're here to talk about the Master of International Affairs degree at the Penn State School of International Affairs. So if you are here to learn about another program here at Penn State, unfortunately, we're not going to be super helpful for you. You may learn a little bit about Penn State, but we will be hunkering down and focusing on the Master of International Affairs. Just a few housekeeping items as well as we move forward is we'd love to hear your questions and field your questions as our time goes today. And we ask that you please use the Q&A box to ask your questions. It just helps us to stay organized and get to your questions in a timely way. Plus, everyone else then can see your answers, the answers to your questions, and you can ask the questions anonymously with the Q&A box. Whereas the webinar chat, it's just harder for us to keep up with that, and it won't be anonymous. So if you could do that, that would be super helpful for us. We will have some time at the end to answer your questions live and with my voice as opposed to text. So it's up to you how you'd like to engage in the Q&A portion of our time today. But at any rate, let us proceed. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about Penn State and the School of International Affairs. You may hear me say SIA. This is just School of International Affairs. It's a lot easier for me to say as we move forward. So don't get confused. Hopefully, you don't get confused by that. But first, let's talk a little bit about our program. We do offer a professional master's degree program in international affairs. It is different than an academic degree where you are primarily working on research and writing under a supervisor in preparation for a PhD or some sort of work in research. Neither is right or wrong, but we're really designed to help students get a job in the professional world as an international affairs practitioner, whether that be through the US federal government or governments around the world, non-governmental organizations, and even in some instances within the private sector, like consulting or government contracting, to a certain extent as well. And so many others. The skills are transferable, but we're really just focused on helping you get a job. We're a member of the Association of Professional Schools of International Affairs, which is really just kind of a fancy way of saying we're a top school of international affairs globally, of about 70, included with about 70 schools around the world that are considered the top schools of international affairs. And we're accredited through APSIA, through a rigorous set of standards and a review process of our faculty, course offerings, preparation, student services, and those types of things. We were accepted into APSIA. We've been a part of APSIA for many years now, and we're just proud to be a part of that. We offer an interdisciplinary, flexible, and customizable curriculum. You can choose one of 12 concentrations or create your own, which we'll go over in just a little bit here, but this is kind of a draw to our program given the interdisciplinarity and flexibility of the concentration or specializations that you can pursue. We offer education abroad. You can participate in about 25 or so one of 25. You don't have a lot of time to do 25, but one of 25 different locations around the world through education abroad. This could be through internships or traditional study, classroom-based study abroad, and those are offered on our website, which you can find if you some time to go there. We have elite experienced faculty. We have former ambassadors, diplomats, folks who have worked in the White House, the federal government, like the CIA, variations of the Department of Defense, and others. We also have economists, folks who are experts in media and journalism, sociologists, folks who are experts in agriculture, women and gender studies, and others. You get support from staff. So through the admissions process, Christy and I will be helping you all the way up until you are enrolled in classes here at University Park. And then we will pass you off to the very capable hands of academic advising, career services, and student affairs, who will also ensure that your journey through graduation is fruitful and successful. We have an over 90% career attainment rate within 1 year of graduation. It is currently at 93.6%. And this really just includes meaningful work for our graduates. And oftentimes they're finding these jobs in their final year, final semester, and then they go right into working once they graduate. When we talk about curriculum flexibility, the core curriculum will include a variety of courses in international affairs, with the overarching theme being globalization and how does the world work together under this very globalized world. We will talk about economics, international relations theory and diplomacy, global cultures and leadership, an international law course. We have a colloquium on current policy challenges, which brings in guest speakers each week in the real world, working on the very issues that you study and aspire to work on later in life. And then we also have research design and or multi-sector and quantitative analysis, which will allow you to see the world through numbers and answer the big questions through regression analysis. You get to choose one of 12 concentrations, or you can create your own. In creating your own and or forming a concentration from our prescribed list, you can take electives in many top Penn State graduate programs. As a part of our curriculum, you are required to complete the intermediate proficiency level of a language other than English. This would mean taking classes here at Penn State, or a combination of undergraduate courses and classes at Penn State, or native acquisition if you are coming to our university already knowing multiple languages other than the English language. Depending on your career interest or regional interest, you may pick up a language here at Penn State that meets the needs of that region. For example, if you're interested in working in Latin America, Spanish would probably work out very well for you. So you could totally do that here. And there will definitely be time in your schedule to meet that. So this seems to be a big drawing factor for us as well. We have a culmination experience that we call a capstone. It's either a master's paper or an internship. You can choose one or the other. Most are choosing the internship just given the professional nature of our program. in preparing students for the real world with hands-on experiential learning. So why consider Penn State? Well, it's a top 100 global university according to US News and World Report, as well as topuniversities.com or QS. We have the largest alumni association globally of over 175,000 dues paying members of the Penn State Alumni Association, and actually nearing 800,000 total alumni worldwide. The reason why this is important is because pretty much every major US city and some cities around the world have a Penn State Alumni Association chapter, where not only did they just gather for social events or watching American football or other philanthropic activities that they do, but also for networking, professional development, and really just getting together as one sort of cohesive unit in each city for a variety of functions and gatherings. This is super important because it's not always about what you know, but who you know. And the Alumni Association helps to kind of socially engineer this networking post graduation. Penn State has a global community and is centrally located. You can see here on the map that Penn State is located close to 3 major US cities, as well as an international city in Canada. We do take our students to New York and DC every fall and spring to meet with employers, SIA alumni, Penn State alumni for our career development trips. We do meet with the types of employers that are likely to hire our students, at least who represent the industry that would hire our students. Maybe not always the specific places, but at least the industry. And these are really fruitful experiences. They just came back from New York on a really great trip where actually the Council on Foreign Relations hosted them for a simulation, which was a really great benefit of going on the trip. You can also see here that we're a very international student-friendly campus, over 9,000 international students here. We're a top 20 institution for international student enrollment. State College, the local community, is one of the safest places to live here in the US, and it's a very quintessential college town where you can kind of get that real college experience if that's something that you desire. So why consider SIA? Well, you get full access to this great university, as just got done discussing, and support from every angle within our program. We offer a 3-tiered advising approach. Every student will have an academic advisor, career services advisor, and a faculty mentor. And we also offer peer and alumni mentorship. As an incoming first-year student, we will ensure that you are matched up with a fantastic second-year student who has kind of been there and done that and knows the local area very well to help you transition into graduate research, graduate school studies, etc. But then while you are a student, we will also match you up with an alumni. You can opt into this program who can help you network, find internships and jobs, as well as help you with cover letters, resumes, and just kind of be a point of contact in the real world as you navigate graduate school. Again, we offer education abroad. It doesn't delay your graduation. I think this is a really great benefit of our program. Not too many graduate programs allow you to go abroad and earn graduate school credit. We have networking through the Penn State Alumni Association and our career trips, which I just got done talking about. And we have a really tight-knit, diverse, and global community. One of the great benefits and goals and visions of our program is to create a community that is supportive, not just from the staff level to the students, but also among the students themselves. We have monthly international affairs discussions, various student-led activities through our Student Government Association and other student organizations as well. And we just really care about making sure that the community here is supportive, inclusive, and helpful to each other. And then finally, we have Great Career Services, who is available. And really, the great career services piece is that it's independent of anything else on campus. You get your own individual career services person who is able to assist with international affairs, internships, and jobs, as opposed to this really big career services office that is kind of a catch-all. We have our own dedicated career services office to assist you through that. This person is available for internship search, job search, cover letters, resumes, interview prep, and these types of things. All right. So now we're going to move into kind of the very important logistical process of applying to our program. We're going to start out with some deadlines. We're going to quickly go through our application to let you know what is required of you at the time of the time you submit your application. But what we really want to ensure is that you know about our best practices in applying to graduate school webinar, where we'll really break down the application. It's our most popular webinar every single year, or every single time we run it. We just ran one not too long ago, but we hope that you can make our next one, which will be, I believe, in December. So please make sure that you attend that so that you can understand what the admissions committee is looking for as they review applications for admission. Okay. So first and foremost, we need to discuss the important deadlines for our program so that you're aware of your current timeline as it stands today. To be considered for generous merit-based scholarships, you must apply no later than December 31st of 2025. Our final deadline for admission is February 15th, 2026. At this point, however, we do expect our class to be full and our scholarships to be completely distributed. So you put yourself at a pretty grave disadvantage by applying at this time. So we do recommend that everyone, regardless of financial need or admission status, to apply by the December 31st deadline. The final deadline, or rather, after the final deadline of February 15th, we will consider applications on a rolling basis. We can't guarantee seats, and scholarships won't be available at this point. This really just is dependent upon seat availability in our class, and we will keep you abreast of what that looks like if you decide to apply after that time. Again, we really want you to just focus on the December 31st deadline, which is approaching. So please make sure that you are working on getting your application submitted in a timely way to give everyone, including your recommenders, time to submit their letters on your behalf so that you can meet that 31st deadline. So how to apply? First, go on our website. There are no tricks here. We don't want to make this any harder than it has to be. Everything that you need to successfully submit an application by the deadline is on our website. And if you miss all of the criteria that I'm about to explain to you here, just go on our website and it's all there. The requirements include a current resume or CV, a copy of your official transcripts. Sometimes your universities may call this the unofficial transcripts, but we cannot accept grade reports, advising records, screenshots of your grades, those types of things. It must be at the very least a copy of the official transcript. If you're admitted to our program, we will need the official transcript sent from your undergraduate university to Penn State as soon as you can. We also need a statement of purpose from you. This is about 600 to 800 word essay, written in cover letter style, explaining your motivation for coming to Penn State. Why do you want to come to Penn State and get a Master of International Affairs, and what you intend to do with the degree afterwards? There is a prompt with instructions on our website. So please, again, go to our website. You'll see all of the instructions and eligibility criteria there. We need the contact information for 2 recommenders. We do recommend, sorry for being redundant, but we do prefer, I should say, that you request recommendations from faculty members or professors. If you've been out of college for quite some time, you can request that a supervisor from a relevant professional job or internship write your letter of recommendations for you. That is fine as well. But again, I think our preference is to have faculty members or professors write your letters. Give them time. Again, December 31st is the deadline, and we want to ensure that you're in the best position to earn our top merit-based scholarships. So we do recommend that you ask these people to write your letters today. After you get off today, send them an email and ask if they'd be willing to write you a letter. We need the completion of program-specific questions, which are supplemental essay questions at the end of our application. Do not skip these, or you put yourself at risk of being denied admission, regardless of the quality of the remainder of your application. If you're an international applicant here today, we do need proof of English proficiency. There is no exemption process. You must submit official IELTS or TOEFL scores to the Penn State Graduate School. In order to be eligible, you must meet the minimum criteria of IELTS. It is a 6.5 overall band score, and for TOEFL, it is a minimum of 80 on the internet-based test. So please make sure that you are doing this. There are some countries that are automatically exempt according to Penn State standards from the English proficiency. These countries are listed on our website, so please check that again if that applies to you. Most countries, however, will need, that are non-English speaking rather, will need to submit TOEFL or IELTS exam scores. If you've earned your degree at an institution where the medium of instruction is English, you still might need to submit IELTS or TOEFL, and there's no other way around that. Your conferred degree must also be comparable to a U.S. four-year bachelor's degree. If you have a three-year degree from a country that only offers three-year degrees, you will need to earn a one-year postgraduate diploma or master's degree. Also, if you're a European student, for example, and you only have 180 ECTS credits, you unfortunately do not meet the minimum threshold. You will need to earn 240 ECTS credits. So please just make sure that your current bachelor's degree meets the US four-year bachelor's degree comparison. Moving on to discussing our scholarships. So we're happy to say that in fall 2025, all eligible students did receive some form of merit-based scholarship from our program. Scholarships are limited and not guaranteed and are completely based on the quality of your application. We do not have any need-based scholarships. Scholarships can discount your tuition up to about 60 to 65% of overall tuition, depending on your residency. We do not have any fully funded scholarships, unfortunately. We're just not afforded the opportunity to do so. On the low end, however, you may see a discount in tuition after scholarships are applied in the 30 to 35% range, but the average scholarship is in the 40 to 50% range. Those who are considered for our top dollar scholarships do apply by the deadline and they submit a really solid application. Again, please just make sure that you are focusing on that December 31st deadline. And I would apply well in advance of that to ensure that everything is buttoned up for the deadline so that there are no issues with the review of your application. International students can use scholarship towards the financial guarantee. The financial guarantee is the minimum amount of money that you have to prove that you have in order to successfully support yourself with tuition and living expenses for one full year of study at Penn State. I believe it is $60,600 is what you have to prove that you have in order to receive the I-20. You can use the scholarship against that amount to lower the burden that you have to present to Penn State Global in order to get your I-20. If you don't have an I-20, you cannot get a visa. If you can't get a visa, then the story kind of writes itself, okay? So please make sure that you are aware of what is needed of you if you are admitted to our program and decide to accept the offer of admission. We do not have any fully funded scholarships, and with that, there are no graduate assistant or TA positions within the School of International Affairs, despite there being potential opportunities around the university, which you can look into if you have completed one semester from our program or in our program. So again, work on just getting here if you're really, really desiring to come to Penn State. Figure out a way to get here, and then you can begin to search for these sorts of opportunities in other departments around campus to help supplement scholarship or help you pay for school. And with that, we are done. We do ask if you are interested in connecting with Christy or myself, you can scan the QR code on the left where you will be taken to our calendars to book meetings with us. Secondly, you can scan the QR code on the right to see our application and what is required of you at the time of submitting your application. Okay. There are some questions in the Q&A, which I really appreciate. Thank you so very much. One just came in. There are quite a few questions here, so we'll just go one by one. The first question is uh, how did the class or how well, like, what is the makeup of the class? I think that's what you're asking in terms of age and working experience. The average age of our students is around 25 to 26 years old, which indicates to us that some students are there's a group of students that come into our program straight from their undergraduate degree and they go right into graduate school with minimal experience. There are others that go out into the workforce, work for a few years, decide that they want to get a master's degree for higher pay or promotions or things like that. And so they come to our program then. And then there's another group of students that are, non-traditional, more adult students, quote unquote. Everyone's an adult, of course, but more adult students who are maybe making career changes, decided that now is the right time for them to go to graduate school because they finally have time to do so. We have families that, parents of big families that attend our program as well. So the working experience varies, but the age is typically 25 to 26 years of age. How can you participate in abroad programs? The abroad programs are available to you starting in the second year of the program. You can do the internships abroad in the summer between your first and second year. Depending on if you do an internship or classroom based study, will also determine who you discuss this with, whether it be academic advising or career services. But you have to apply to these programs. Oftentimes, students get accepted into them because it's very, very simple application process. It's just a way that they vet students to ensure that they are serious about them. At this rate, most students are very serious about going abroad because we are graduate students. So in any case, that's like a 30,000 foot view of how you participate in those. You also just have to make sure that your passport will allow you to go to those countries, assuming that you don't have an American passport. Um, what does merit-based scholarship consists on? What does merit actually mean? Merit. So we review applications holistically, meaning that strengths in one area can overcome weaknesses in another area. Merit means that your application is of a standard that we have set internally to attract the type of students that we would like to our program. So merit is really just saying that you have qualified for the scholarship that you received. Um, Again, if you feel like that you have weaknesses in one area, make sure for example, your GPA, make sure you write a really standout statement of purpose. I always like to say the statement of purpose is where the money, quote unquote, is made. If you write a pretty poor statement of purpose, you're probably going to get a pretty poor scholarship or simply just not be admitted to our program altogether. If you write a really standout statement of purpose, but maybe your GPA isn't as great, you may see a higher than normal scholarship, one that you may not have received elsewhere or that you expected to receive simply just because your statement of purpose was really good. Again, please make sure that you come to our best practices in applying to graduate school webinar. The people who attend those typically do really well on the application because we're kind of giving you the answers to the test, just kind of flat out. Okay. What do you guys consider the most? CV, grade, statement of purpose, letter of recommendation? I kind of answered this already, but given the holistic review, all of these factors are taken into place. But again, the money is made with the statement of purpose. Answer everything on the application with the utmost of integrity and drive and seriousness to put yourself at the best chance for admission and scholarship. Hopefully, all of those answers are sufficient for you. Thank you so much for your questions. Um, okay. Are there virtually no graduates who pursue advanced studies after achieving the master's? No, there are some students that go on to get PhDs. It's just not the common trajectory. And we're really not set up to be a pipeline into PhD programs, but we don't want to exactly deter you. If that's what you want to do, you can definitely get that out of our program. It's just we are really designed for professional work. If you go to our career services director and you say, I just want to get a PhD after this, he may ask, well, then why are you here? but it doesn't mean that you can't go on to get PhDs. We have plenty of students that get PhDs after they leave our program. It's just not the most popular option. Someone also asks, as someone who will need to work through school, is the option for the capstone internship to be paid available? Yeah, that's completely up to you. If you find work that is paid, yeah, that's up to you. Now, in the international affairs world, because you're doing quote unquote God's work, it usually doesn't come with the type of pay that you may anticipate if you were getting an MBA and interned at, I don't know, some big multinational corporation over the summer. So it's few and far between as far as pay, but you just have to find the right spot because a lot of nonprofit organizations are less inclined to pay their interns. But as we know, if you're a US citizen, you get a federal internship, you're required to get paid. So someone also asked, do you provide options for distance learning? We do have an online master, or I'm sorry, an online graduate certificate in international affairs. It's a certificate though, so unless you already have a master's, it's probably not going to get you very far. But if you do finish the online graduate certificate, you can stack those classes or double count them rather into the master's degree that is residential only in the future. So it's up to you. And then finally, and I see two other questions came in, I'm just answering these questions that were already answered so that everyone knows what the answers are. As an international student graduating in the US, do I still need to have proof of language proficiency? No. If you've earned a degree in a country that is deemed English speaking, you do not need to report IELTS or TOEFL. And that is an important question. So it's not based on the country you're from, it's based on the country you've earned the degree in. Okay. What webinar were you saying to attend to get tips on the application process? That's our best practices in applying to graduate school. I believe the next one is in December 16th, maybe. Yes, December 16th, which was answered in the chat. So if you go to the Q&A and you go to the answered, I think you all can see those. Yeah. You should all be able to see those. Go to the answered portion of the Q&A and you can find the registration link for that. What's the percentage of students who have secured jobs after graduation? I'm not sure when you came in, but we did say that 93.6% of students are obtaining meaningful work within 1 year of graduation. Is the university eligible to receive students from Fulbright? Absolutely. In fact, if you do have a Fulbright, it actually comes with great benefits to our program. Tuition benefits and scholarships essentially will ensure that you have a pretty substantial financial package that you will feel comfortable living here as well if you have Fulbright. So yes, please. If you have Fulbright, hopefully your Fulbright commission will allow you to apply to our program. Okay. Are there any other questions? Those were really good questions. I really appreciate it. Any other questions? Okay. Well, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your engagement. We hope to see an application from you soon. Again, please apply sooner rather than later to put you in best consideration. We want to see your application come through. We do prioritize earlier applications in our decision-making process. So hopefully you'll hear from us in January if you apply now. If you apply on December 31st, you may not hear from us until maybe February or so, just given the prioritization within the queue. Again, reach out to us with any questions. Our email is on the screen. You can call or text us as well, and we look forward to chatting soon. Take care.